Hello, good afternoon, all we viewers and listeners. It is such a pleasure to be with you one more time. I dey say hello to everybody who's on a day, whether in the morning, on our afternoon, on our evening. I dey bring plenty I'll do to everybody. Well, una don tune in again for listening one more time to the Unifier Hour. And I want for remind una say the link where una take for join, do ya una share that link there with all una friends of friends. In fact, una make the link public so that anybody will want for tune in and listen go able for get a chance. Una they reach we on www.richardkonteh.com. Una go find we na all the various social media platform them. We they on LinkedIn, we they on YouTube, we they on Facebook, we they on WhatsApp, we they on TikTok, we they on all the social media platform them, Instagram, they all. So anyone pande we una want for tuning to, for listen to we or for view we, una welcome for do that. So as usual, we get with we Dr. Richard Konteh, we na him na the Unifier. Dr. Konteh, you want to say hello to we viewers and listeners?
Yeah, viewers and listeners, good evening. Valda, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so as usual, they jump straight into questions for Dr. Richard Konteh. And also, it don't take small way we come and get this program. So make her take some time out for just apologize for the break in broadcast. Until myself know, say life can sometimes happen and take precedence over some things. And so due to a lot of different things maybe they go on, will not be able for come and come it with una. That not mean say we care for una any less, or we not be want for see una. Oh my goodness, we've been miss una. So I want to make una rest assured say we go do everything in we power for make sure say we not get any more of them kind break and day. Today I go, Dr. Konteh, you not know this, but today this show I want for let we focus on many of the rumor then where they go around about you as a flag bearer aspirant for the APC party and therefore a potential presidential candidate. We know say we country now country of oral culture. We know say people then like for your read and say, in fact, people then prefer for your read and say than for read the news. So much so that there's a saying out there where then they talk say, you want to hide something per Africa man, and this is Africa in general. If you want to hide something per Africa man, write on a book. And we know say we on culture, salon culture, we like oral. Everything we want for find out, we want for find out from somebody, as opposed to for go read for we self. So now that's not some of the problem that we get. Also, when it comes to news, not all everything all time can be properly vetted. We get plenty news outlets them. Some then they were credible, some then they were some of the story they pull credible, but some questionable. So we want for dispel some of the myth them, some of the rumor them, or don't they around town about Dr. Richard Konteh. The first thing I want for deal with when a rumor, when me personally somebody tell me, and the person will tell me, in a person way I been expecting will know better because by profession in a lawyer, and not only that in a lawyer, he actually work in a salon special court. So I be expect say because he get a kind of access, he go able for laying hands on the proper documents so that it will make a proper it will get a more reliable source. But again, the oral culture didn't say. I talked to her one day and I say, well, dear Dr. Richard Konteh, and all the thief salon money. That's also money than the way thief. He said, I got the $11 million. And I said, oh my goodness. Okay. So we know say this $11 million. We just don't see Dr. Richard Konteh don't be vindicated and don't free him. They don't talk say no evidence, no day. Say Dr. Richard Konteh take this $11 million or misappropriate this $11 million. And me family, I want to remember something. This judgment we can down so from the ACC, Anti-Corruption Committee. This judgment we can down so. And I can down during APC government where Dr. Richard Konteh, an APC party member. It can down during SLPP government where we know say if them get chance, any small chance where them get, then go try for use for eliminate anybody where then thinks in a threat for the election coming up in 2023 with presidential elections. But we don't see say Dr. Richard Konteh then don't vindicate. Dr. Konteh, do ya not to all man know the backstory of this $11 million? You can clarify things for you. Just give people them some idea who side this $11 million talk come out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. When I be Minister of Trade and Industry, the Japanese government give we a commodity grant. This time now oil. We get some petrol, we get some diesel, and we get some HFO. Whether the type of special type of fuel, whether they can use for some of we power generating plants, like how the Japanese government they give we Nakitom. So when they donate these commodities to the government of Sierra Leone, the Japanese government also designates Crown Agents UK as the procuring entity. What that they mean therefore is that now them then give the responsibility for sell this oil on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone, and then the money could be then paid to the government of Sierra Leone, and they will put them into a designated account. So when they give you this grant, and then the government ask we then ambassador to Ghana, when Ambassador Usman Fude Yassane for sign on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone, he signed this agreement, and then transmit the documents to we now Sierra Leone for make we follow up. And me as the Minister of Trade, I become the direct recipient ministry. But however, when the Crown agents then do the first procurement exercise and send to me the report, I discover say instead of we forget the equivalence of $11 million, we before only get the equivalence of $9 million. So now I say no. They no will give me $11 million. As my person go sell me property we value at $11 million. They will go sell like I tell me say $9 million. Will be $2 million. I agree. So I go up to the president and I say, each year I say they don't sell this oil. They say we'll get the equivalence of only $9 million. I say, me the $2 million. I'm not ready for my government lost $2 million. So since the exchange of notes started the agreement between we and the Japanese, he empowered the Minister of Trade for terminate the procurement process at any point before signature if you're not satisfied with the process. I said, me want to go ahead and terminate the process and ask me the launcher. Now he said, well, if you sure say he allowed for make you terminate, then go ahead and terminate because that money plenty. So he agreed with me. So based upon that, I come and write to Crown agents for say and copy the Japanese government for say I'm not satisfied with the procurement process, and that they asked me to relaunch the process. But this time, since the first procurement process we didn't do, they only launch in England and they said only one company, 9 bid. This time I say, may they launch them inside Sierra Leone and may they publish them in the local newspapers so that they will allow even local interested parties for also participate in the procurement process. And I say, I will also want for insist, say this time, make them as Crown agents not do them on their own without government representation in the process. So they accept both of my proposals, and so they advertise inside the local newspapers in Sierra Leone, ask for any companies that were interested because of the international competitive bidding. It made them a bid, and then they asked me for nominate somebody for represent the government in the negotiations. So since we've been get a petroleum unit at the time headed by Dan Mason, I asked Dan Mason late, then he so rest in peace, he's now late. I asked her for represent government in England in the negotiations. So buy for a ticket, they go, then go do the entire procurement process, then tender, then evaluate, and then 2 companies then this time instead of 1 apply. We get NP, Sierra Leone, and Total Sierra Leone to submit their bids, they evaluate the bids, and then NP emerge as the most responsive bidder. So we award the contract to NP and we sign an agreement to make NP pay the money in 3 installments. At that point, we ask the Ministry of Finance, where they then get a responsibility for receive government money. We inform them and ask them for open an account into which these monies could be paid. So the Ministry of Finance, the Accountant General, to be specific, open an escrow account in the Bank of Sierra Leone, and the monies in 3 installments were paid into that designated account. And actually, when in 2016, this is like 5 years after the transaction, the Japanese then come na Sierra Leone for evaluate the partnership and cooperation with the government of Sierra Leone. They evaluate that particular transaction at over 100%, and they also singled me out as the only minister we follow all the laid down procedures. That report is there. For they commend me for where I ensure say we no lost money, and I ensure say the entire process and handling of the grants where we receive be very open and transparent. So I get a commendation. So it was therefore for me a big shock where in 2019, after the elections in constituency 110 and the role where I be play in that, and some encounters where we been get on radio and television with some of we neighbor there from the other side, I just then at my office on the Thursday morning, I received a call from the Anti-Corruption Commission, say me for report that the CIA, ACC immediately ordered the car arrest me. And I said, what's happening? What did the guy arrest me now? So then they say, well, we get an allegation there, say you misappropriate $11 million. I said, $11 million for what? They say, the Japanese government been giving $11 million, you misappropriate the money. Now I laugh. I say, me, Richard Konteh, I misappropriate $11 million. They say, yes. I said, okay. I said, well, is it okay if I come on Monday? They said, no. If I come now, I will give you 5 minutes. If you don't come, we'll go and arrest you. I said, no, we wouldn't need to dramatize this here. I said, if they insist, say, I for come immediately. I say, they come. I said, I don't be way. So I inform my lawyers, I move. If I reach the ACC before my lawyer, they reach there. I go there, I say, I don't come. As I sit down, and they say, you're under arrest. I say, I know. I say, I'm under arrest. I say, so what next? Then they begin ask me questions about the entire transaction. Now I just explain, like I just explain so. And they say, well, let me give them the account number, who side they pay the money. I said, they don't put to ask. I said, I don't left government from 2014, 5 years ago. I say, and I don't left the Ministry of Trade from 2013, January. That is like 6-7 years ago. I said, how would I expect me for remember the account details? I say, if you want to know the account number for who side they pay the money, when I either contact the Ministry of Finance, when they open the account, and then I signatory the account, Minister Signatory, when I either contact them or when I contact the National Petroleum, when I then pay the money, they will know the account into which they pay the money. I said, me just know say the entire amount was paid into the account because I received confirmation say they pay about the name of the account number to be specific. I not get her. They say me for president, I not get her. And then they say, okay, well, they're the exchange of notes. That's it again. As a middle left government several years ago, I said, those documents are official government documents. I don't move around with them. So when I moved from the ministry to become the chief of staff, I left the documents in the Ministry of Trade. So if you want to see those documents, there are 4 places you can get those documents from. You can either go to the Ministry of Trade. There should be a file in the office of the minister or the permanent secretary who sign these documents they're supposed for the. If not, we'll go Foreign Affairs, because all cooperation documents with our bilateral partners are kept. Copies are kept in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because now there they usually sign on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone. So they should have those documents there. So if it is not there, a third place you can go to can be our High Commission in Ghana, because now they be actually signed on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone. I say if those 3 fail, I say when I get the last option for contact the Japanese government and request copies of the. I say what me, Richard Konteh, I'm not the left office and walk around with official documents. I don't have them. They send me for police. I said, no, I'm not getting them. Long and short, then detain me for 4 days. After 4 days, they grant me bail and continue the investigations for 3 years until very recently. Then come back and say they don't find out, say the money no loss. They don't find out, say I know squander any money and I don't do anything criminal, and therefore they close the file. So I was vindicated after over 3 years of investigations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Konteh. Really, really appreciate the backstory and that. Important for the reviewer them and we listener they understand waiting na this vindication, because we just hearing that the news say Richard Konteh has been vindicated of $11 million, but not all man know the backstory. So thank you so much for you give me the background. And me fumble them. I want to introduce 2 other panelists where we get with we today. I want to introduce Mr. Said Konteh and Mr. Mohammed S. Kanu. Mr. Said, you want to say hello to reviewer there?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Valda. And I want to say hello, Sierra Leone, hello, International. Hello to everybody who they watch this program.
Thank you. And Mr. Mohammed.
Hello, unakushe na ya na America usade and unakushe na salon and all over the world. You wonder where they listen to this radio. Just want to say hi, and it's a privilege for me for participating in this wonderful radio show.
Una, thank you so much for we una make una time available for come participate in the show. So I don't know how much of waiting Dr. Konteh say as the backdrop of this $11 million what they seen at the news. But I be want for ask una, as you know, ordinary Sierra Leonean citizens, we get an interest in the country, we connected back home. What are some of the things that won't have been done around this $11 million concerning Dr. Richard Konteh?
I can answer that.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe not the area say he forged the president's signature for making squander the money for the timber and all that thing, and then they don't go on and on and on. Then they get for Holland, which I understand they get for Holland for some time, but then they be able for left out. Because even for travel, they've been taking passport for making it for travel until the investigation been done. And then I think say after the investigation, they don't look say Martin did not do way wrong. So they've been getting back in travel documents. And very recently, then we are saying they don't exonerate him for the 11 million we then accuse them of. So now good news down there to everybody. Because possibly honest, if they accuse you about something, enough fear to you and enough fear to the one they were there with you. We know Dr. Richard Konteh, we know him very well, very close to him, and we know say a man of a character where it be say very honest, and anything way they do, they call God in name first. So we really happy well we don't hear it say they don't pull up under 11 million case the way do nothing way wrong during in time we been in the power.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed. You mentioned actually two separate issues. You mentioned the exoneration of the 11 million. Then you mentioned something about forged signature. I will left that forged signature there for later in the program. We will come to that day. But I also want to throw the same question to Mr. Said. You don't hear anything around this 11 million. You don't ever try for talk to somebody about, salon politics and the APC flag bearer candidates there. And then this talk of 11 million car up, or not, maybe not specifically 11 million, but around corruption and thief and waiting.
Yes, Madam Presenter, thank you again. It's saddened because as a Sierra Leonean, despite we are not this Sierra Leone, but politics of that country, a lot of people then choose one particular thing. That is, anybody when they say God don't bless, for bring him calm down, pull him down signal. Whether not true, whether not lie, it sometimes it can bother some of we, where you see people and then they destroy somebody in name, where they not get facts for say this person here, waiting in the top button, so it be. A good number of people and they know they read. Some of them, even if they read to them, now waiting them one for care go, now in the care go. The answer to that question, now yes, people and don't allege say, oh, Dr. Richard Konteh, because when me come up say I support him for specific reason. It proved to me twice that now somebody way I can able for put million support behind. One, country can force. Two, he is honest. Then two things in there. Prove not even the one where they behind, one of the most important one where I believe in. He is God fearing. What do I mean by them thing the way I mentioned so? Instances that don't happen where somebody allege something about him, where right there I call him. I tell him, him and the person we dey on the phone, video call, where he explain himself, the person come back and walk back, say, oh, well, I'm sorry, I not be no saying that so things happen. Then this person, now the only person this from women know since Adam was a boy, now Salon, we start in campaign with God. He say, una let we pray. E no sabi go to anybody who go say, go look this person, go look here. He say, let we do God. So this kind of person, God don't bring and come to help that country there. Because what will they see? All man, they lie for all man. Everybody they do anything they feel for do without no accountability. People don't say, yeah, they say, oh, that man they eat money. But you don't get proof. If it's somebody go they lie by you, see what you not do, how you go feel. Sometimes we just need for reflect. They are not take most of the time. This now the character of individual where me personally, Said Konteh, decide say this man, I go support him for them three things that I mentioned. He is God fearing. That man is trustworthy. And in country, he put on number one. Then they look and say, oh, me na this, me na limba, me na create this, that. Some of the politicians in that country, then they do them because they see say the people where they go behind them, they not get the academic capability, and they're not able to see beyond that glass, where at least tomorrow, now the same one will suffer. So for this year, make I decide say me, your side Konteh, support Richard Konteh, Dr. Richard Konteh. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Said. Very astute observations, and thank you for sharing. Okay, like I say, me listener them, me viewer them. Una they reach me on www.richardkonteh.com. Do you not forget for share the link far and wide. And today I say we they deal with plenty rumor they hold on the area around Dr. Richard Konteh way na the Unifier. So another rumor where I know say very rampant out there now the salon community as well as the diaspora all over the world. Now that Dr. Richard Konteh being forged previous President Ernest Bai Koroma in signature during in time na office. I want to ask both Mr. Said and Mr. Mohammed, wetin una don yeri around this matter? Wetin are the kind things that way when una they talk to people there about Dr. Richard Konteh, then bring this talker up? What are the kind of things they una the yeri? Because we know say the rumor than plenty.
I can come in.
Yes, sir.
The rumor them boku not true. You know now one thing about Sierra Leone, then go don't judge you down at the public before ever the court system then do their work. And what in bad na salon back, when you get promising somebody way honest, we want for help the country, then the one the way they get the personal gain or whatever they want for do, then they try for tarnish that person they in name. The case be don't go na court. And the court system na salon at that time it be okay. I don't know for now because I'm not the day. So if court system don't go in and don't investigate somebody, then don't look everything. They be even hold on to in travel documents for making no travel out of the country. Then they look, say, then don't do the investigation, say, then see, say, the man not do anything with them they accuse him of, then they are back in travel documents and left and free. Then they don't show, say, the man not do nothing way wrong. But Sierra Leone, as how Mr. Said they say just now, we get a lot of people that were uneducated. And they they try for see reason. And most politicians, me not a politician, I mean, first thing is for support somebody because I believe in that. Most politicians and people then when they support politician, then they support them for the person. They're not the support for the ideas where the person gets. And me go tell you say, I support Dr. Richard Konteh because of his ideas for Sierra Leone. And I know say if he come, he be a leader in that country there, he go able to put Sierra Leone who say he's supposed for there. Because we not really deserve what they go on as alone. We've been born, you know, me now old man now, but we've been born, we know say Sierra Leone have been the Athens of Africa. I don't know what thing go wrong or what thing not go wrong where the country don't turn about like I turn about so. But I know say the man academician and he don't do very well. And he don't what he do. Actually, you get a lot of people that win as Sierra Leone and where they are in payroll. Now man we cherish education. Then they go show because he get a build school where they teach picking them. And I don't did it where picking them come, starting picking them in can they say they drop them at school, they don't get school fees. I did it with and then at the school they way he call the head teacher, tell and say, let them picking them go back in, they pay for them the school fees. So that kind of person now we need in Sierra Leone, we get academics and we cherish education. I think say if we're able to educate we youth of today, then we'll be the leaders of tomorrow. So now the perception this way people then get where they employ your name saying and so people then they take for believer when at the public, even though the matter been in a court. So for me, it's very simple. The court we don't make the decision. They say the man not do anything way wrong. And then this one back when at this 11 million don't come back to. So not a man we they hide what he do from the beginning when they accuse him. The same thing way if they say day number one. Now if they say 30 days, he not do anything wrong if they want for investigate and let them go ahead. So that kind of person, they is honest. So now me don't take into that question we asked, madam.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kanu. Dear Mr. Konteh, I turn the same question over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Valda. You see, as I say, it is happening. We, as a Sierra Leonean, born in a salon, go school in a salon. Some people then they we go fortunate for Yeri or see me when I talk. Because I go one of the best school in a salon, Prince of Wales. And then not only I go there, attain some amount of higher education. Then I learned work. I was a building contractor. One thing way bad in that country, anytime we Sierra Leoneans them, we not mean well for the country, whether politician, whether police, whether doctor, whether lawyer, then see say this person here, he come for work at traits at that country day. Then they find all kind way for give him the PhD where he not deserve, where he not go study for, pull him down syndrome. Above all, Dr. Richard Konteh, he fall inside that trap because even within your party, at a time where it be say some of them get their own ways they wouldn't do. It's all about me, just me. That selfish greediness it into with politicians in that country. I can always say as a Christian, let God have mercy on that country and them. But everything where then they do, where they don't say about Dr. Richard Konteh, we cut the system there in the country, where if somebody not gonna look person say because it was war, then this person here 90. Or this person here because he find, this person not do nothing. No. There is something where we call the law. And that law there, Dr. Richard Konteh, he believe in them. The accusations them of whatever will they do, we can always say, and one thing where he said they say, let God sorry for them. And myself go join them, say, let God sorry for them. Some people and they where they don't want to see the country and go before one. Whether in education, in economics, whether in social life, they don't want and they just don't want and they just want no more the country for the inside dark. So all the accusations they were in the label and all these things, courts don't prove them. The one they were in charge say for let them go find out and don't say this man not do nothing wrong. But woe betides you where you get a community, a society of people them where intellectually they are not up there. And some man where wake in the morning, some people and they wake in the morning, they go sit down, they say waiting they feel for say, they not get no good thing we go talk about somebody. What's the say this person here? Now better person for that country. Then go do all kinds of things. It's inside the family, it's inside the neighbor them, it's inside every corner where you go. And as I can say, every quarters. So if we not change the way of looking somebody, prominent people them, wait for bring that country, they come up. We they pull them down, we they pull them down. This now some of the recipe that will make the country they kind of so. Look, almost dollar don't go. When you send $100, look almost it don't go. So, Madam Valda, I believe say all this allegation, accusation, or whatever of Dr. Richard Konteh is prevalent on the fact that some people and the way don't see and say, this if we left them, you know, it go get what it's supposed to get, and then the country go better. Then we will be exposed. So what we go do? Low lie panam, low give and false allegation. We delay them, we derail in progress. We go make in one grain. It go change a community, a society, but low poelam, let that not be. So I believe saying that that's make them they do all the things they are they do. Where at the end of the day, if somebody's commit crime, the law there, let the law taking course. But not go where you reach na ghetto, you dey lie for something you know about. So man not even sabi read a right. But what in the then say, what do you say? Who say you don't see the fact? For say this situation where they gone, na true, na so it be I see them because as I read on a paper. You know, because sometimes when you say something, Dr. Richard Konteh, get black and white. You read them. Say you self-read. And you understand what you read. Because not for just read. For read now one, but for understand what you read. And then you put them into good use. It's another thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Konteh. So again, the rumor where they go around now that Dr. Richard Konteh forged President EBK in signature. I've been listening to an interview earlier today where somebody with then the interviewer named Aziz actually say that na false allegation not to Dr. Ernest by Koroma in signature, then forge. Now Dr. Richard Konteh in signature. So we don't hear it and the from third party. I want to throw this question directly to Dr. Richard Konteh. Do ya, Dr. Konteh, you can give it the background on this whole forged signature allegation. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Valda. You know, this now one of the things that we are not like to talk about because it's very painful. But since you ask me, I will talk. You know, when I've been there as chief of staff, we've been there in a situation where government been there for ban the export of value-added timber. And because of this ban, we've been faced with a situation wherein some people that will be involved in this business, especially women, they don't give monies to somebody, whether Alisuma, for export for them value-added timber. So then come na State House, the woman there, in tears to president, for can complain say Alisuma owe them money and for export value-added timber, and you not give them back their money. And the issue was very, very serious. And so the president, in wisdom, asked we for investigate the matter. So as chief of staff, I request for IB Kagbo, for Dauda Kamara, and by Monty Jones, the three, when have been then the advisors to the president, for make them go investigate more about this Alisuma. So then go to Alisuma in factory na Waterloo, and then come back with a report for say Alisuma, indeed they process timber na Waterloo and they employ at the time over 200 people there. The guy with that report there, but the report be sound too good. So I decided to say myself will go visit this factory. So he did on my way up country on one of the days while they go do the monitoring trips. I stopped at the factory in Waterloo, and true to it, I did see samples of the work and meet a large number of youths where he employed at the factory. So I was impressed. So I engaged Alisuma in a discussion. Now he lament about this problem where he gets with the woman then and that type of stuff. So because of that, so okay, I come back, I give a report to the president. Alisuma later on write to the president for permission for export 30 containers of value-added timber. When a Duam, president forward the request to me. So I go meet president, I say, what's the directive? Now I say, convey approval. Now I say, okay, sir. I say, but I want to convey this approval, make we do them on a case-by-case basis. So on the 9th of February 2014, I do a letter to Alisuma for convey approval for the export of value-added timber, but that each time where you want for export in paragraph 2, I say it will come and make a specific request for the quantity of timber where you want for export, and then after due consultations with the Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Agriculture, who are the lead ministries for that sector. I say, if they recommend approval, I said, then the president will give me a directive for convey approval. So when Alisuma make this request, say one for export, 30 containers, forward the papers to the Ministry of Trade and Agriculture for the processor. So they process them, and in April, then come back to me specifically on the 24th of April with approval, or say, yes, we can convey approval for the export of 30 containers. So on the 26th of April, I do a letter conveying approval for the export of 30 containers of value-added timber. And I copy the relevant authorities, and I ask that all the relevant fees, taxes, and applicable dues are paid. So it is this letter where we write, Nai Alisuma take, he go falsify, he go use computer, extract my signature, he write your letter, which he remove the 30 containers and just give himself an open-ended approval for export. In fact, now during the investigations, now we discover, say, prior to that, the letter they even were right, it be done falsify for himself. Another letter allegedly coming from the Ministry of Agriculture, where give approval for export 500 containers.
Wow.
So president called me in my office. He said, Richard, you know everybody's. I said, waiting. He said, they say they don't export over 400 containers of value-added timber. I said, what? So this is news to me. I said, me no say I convey approval for only 30 containers. I said, so, and nobody not come back to me for any other approval for exports, any other timber. So my assumption is that they'll not be doing them for the export. I said, but anyway, when you don't give me this information, make I investigate. So I go back to my office, and I invite Dr. Sheikh Jibril Kamara. He has been the advisor for agriculture. And so since the issue of timber be fall under the purview of the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Trade, I say, make him as the advisor go lead an investigation. Then I tell him, say, we'll get somebody in the office where also gets a background in investigation. I'm a policeman. Now, Salon, I'm a policeman in America, and he knows more about investigation. And so make the two go down Wataki, make them go investigate the truth behind this whole issue about timber. And when they go down Wataki, then they go discover, say, yes, indeed, they be done, they export this timber, and true to it, they go discover this letter where they say now from the office, we give open-ended approval to Suma for export timber. So they take my own letter where they go from the office, and the one where they go meet Nawataki, they come to me back with the two letters. They say, Doc, we don't go Nawataki. We want to go discover like that. We'll get these two letters. So there and then I take these two letters, I go back to the president. I say, HE, I say, now this I don't. I say, look, I say, I send me man there for go discover, for go investigate. I said, then go discover these two letters. I said, this one that way I write, this not to me writer. I said, but then somehow they could extract the signature from this other document and put up on this other document. I said, how they do I don't know. That in technology we may not sabi. I said, but let me like this, not to me like this. Now it is say, oh God, say people learn bad. That's exactly. That's anyway. I said, what H I say, I they go now. I said, but I get copies of them documents. I said, you keep them wire. Make me go back and go see how we go investigate this matter further. So now President set up an inter-ministerial committee we may head for that we investigate this whole issue. And then on Eon, now he also asked, without me knowledge, the head of intelligence at the time, when Christopher John, retired AIG Christopher John, for make himself mount an independent investigation to the matter. And on one day, we all convene in the State House under the chairmanship of President. Me present the report of new investigation. We conclude for say one, the my signature was forged. Two, that some complicity they take place now water key in terms of the processing, because how this person will come past now water key, pass through all the gates, then he go load the container inside ship where he not paid. Well, definitely, if that happened, there must be some complicity, and we recommend that the matter be further investigated and prosecuted, and that all the people there were there in the chain were involved in this transaction, therefore be held responsible for that. Now then turn to Christopher John. Now himself give your report, also concluding that your investigation don't reveal say they forge the signature. Now President said they forge the signature. Say yes. So why you not arrest the person? He said person go confess to and say now he forged the signature. That's why you not arrest him. Let's say I'm not arrested because I don't get power for arrest. So there and then, the president order that they invite the IG for Kana office. So when the IG they come with in deputy Richard Moibe, and he come with the head of CID Seisman. So then three come, and president gave directive that therefore go arrest Ali Suma, where go confess to Christopher John for saying he forged my signature, and that we all for stay inside that room, we not for come out until he get word back for say they don't arrest Suma. So we actually stayed in that office, under office arrest, I will put it, for over 4 hours, until they finally able to lay hands on Ali Suma and can inform the president that they don't arrest him and they don't detain him. And president come back, we reconvene, and I give instruction now for say, since Namios signature and forge, make me go and prosecute the matter na CID where they investigate the matter. So in fact, I've been organized a retreat for ministers na the beach, one hotel at the beach. So all the many ministers that be there for this retreat. Then one senior person called me. For out of respect for the person, I will call his name. Now he called me and said, "Hey Richard," I say, "I called for beg you." I said, "For waiting." He said, "My nephew called me and said, he don't offend you." I said, "How you offend me?" He said, "He forged your signature and that they don't create a problem about this timber and all the rest of it." I said, He said, "So do you? I just called for beg you, for make you forgive her for this thing we do." Now I said, "Unfortunately, this was on a Friday." I said, "Unfortunately, sir, this thing is now beyond me." I said, "Because this thing don't get to the hearing of the president." I said, "So whether me forgive your nephew now or not, it don't really matter. The president are already aware about the issue and action is already being taken. So if you want to stop this matter now, you got to talk directly to the president so that the president will then decide not to proceed with the investigation." I said, "But it is now beyond me, because the matter is now up to that point. Me believe say me I be the victim. I not be ever. I be the victim when they don't forge my signature, and therefore I been get the upper hand in terms of being able to go and prosecute the person without forge my signature." Only for make on Saturday, where we finished the retreat, I've been therefore go home on Saturday in preparation for start the other session we get on Monday with the 9th of June with the members of parliament. I go on Saturday, the place, waiting for happen. I go in the house on Saturday, they called me from CID, said they want to see me at CID. So I believe say I be facing that for make I go explain about the documents that will be done forward to the on waiting transpire. Only for make I go see a charge sheet and the take statement for me. I see on top of the heading, I say, being accused. And I say, excuse me. Be not accused to me, a witness. I say, no, you're not accused. I said, so I don't change now from somebody, a witness, to an accused. That's okay. It's interesting. So then keep me there for over 4 hours. I go there around, actually, I'll be asked one of my cousin, Yirakabo, for accompany me, so now we two go. So then keep me there for around 3, 4 in the afternoon, after 8, before they finally ask me for go home. So I go home, that Saturday day, Sunday, I go church. Monday, I come back na office. I've been get a meeting in Parliament because we don't bring in some consultants for country for work on how Parliament and the legislative and the executive will work better together for deliver better results for the country. So I spend the whole day na Parliament, stay around 2 o'clock, and then I've been get for chair the EITI, the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative Board meeting, because I don't succeed in the time for make certain EITI compliant again, because we don't suspend with I be chief of staff. And then that very afternoon, I'll be supposed to fly, go to America for go present the results for the MCC, where we don't meet all the criteria for make for don't get the compact in that year. So I was poised to travel. Already my bags were all set in my suitcase ready for travel that day. Only for make one for left now for go to airport. My phone ring. They say Richard. They say for travel. That's okay, no problem. So I sit down. I finish my day. I clear my table. I go home. I do on my way for go home. Now I get a call from the World Bank country manager for say, Richard, who's there? We say we don't get some information at the kind of your house. By the time they reach the house, somebody called me, say, Richard, turn on the radio. I say, what's happening? They don't sack you. I said, oh, really? I said, okay. So that's how I lost my job. A few days later, I was arrested, locked up for 16 days, kept in court for over 3 years, only for make one day they tell me, say, we'll not get any evidence against you. The matter was discharged.
Thank you so much, Dr. Richard Konteh. Ms. Ambulem, I'm so glad we were able to approach this particular subject today, because I know there's something really out there where plenty grassroots APCNs, diasporans, stakeholders, all echelons of the APC party, they go, get this belief. And no matter who that you ask, whether they high up there or they middle ground or now grassroots organizer and supporter of the APC party, that rumor they say Dr. Richard Konteh being forged Dr. Ernest by Koroma in signature during
and Valda, sorry. I just
Yes.
talk say they keep me in a court for 3.5 years, but maybe I need for explain something about this signature and how they establish for say indeed my signature was forged. And what I find interesting was that they sacked me before they begin investigate. Because they sacked me on the 9th, and now only on the 11th of June, according to the records in court, then forward the documents then to the forensic team. The other team specialists there for me to investigate for know whether my signature or not. So which means without investigating, they recommend me sack one and submit me to everything. And then they are already there in detention when they start for even look at the documents for establish whether or not my signature they forged or anybody's signature they forged. And the issue about the president's signature not ever arise anywhere in the document, because throughout the court proceedings, nobody, even though they charged me with forgery, but nobody not produced any documents other than Million document as the document of forgery. So basically, in essence, I was being charged for forging my own signature. So they sacked me for forging my own signature. How can I forge my own signature? Now the riddle way are still not able yet for unravel and understand fully. And now in court, where the handwriting specialist, Madam Nyakoi, where I meet for the first time in a court, I know ever Sabiam. In testimony or in I don't know how they call her, as a prosecution witness, where you come for contender on the report of your investigations. Now, he been get for tell the court how, as part of your own investigation, how he go to my office, he go take samples of my signature and find out say they're all different, they're not uniform, because in normal, where somebody they sign normally in the normal course of duty, they know they get a perfect match, but that the signatures them where then go pick from the various offices then, who side then go deliver this forged letter. When they take all of those letters, then check the signatures, they were all perfectly matched. And they say it's not normal for make mortal man sign and then get a perfect match. Now only a machine now they do. And so therefore then conclude, say my signature was forged. That's not to me, Richard Konteh, signed the letter the day. Because if not me be signed the letter the day, then not be forget a perfect match. So now the judge, when I justice commander now, justice combat commander, he was then the magistrate in court number 1. Now he asked the witness, he said, "Excuse me, madam." He said, "How this possible?" Then the woman said, "Sir, by my lord," he said, "You yourself right now, your signature, if we want, we can take her, extract her from any document where you don't sign and put her on the document. It will look like your signature, like that you sign her. You don't get any control." I say, the technology now available. And the man said, "Wow." So now that they do in this particular instance, I say yes. They take Richard Konteh, his signature from another document where he don't sign, then extract her and then put her, but scan them and put them on the documents there. Said that don't happen. Not Richard Konteh signed the documents there. So ideally, at that point, if not be a normal investigation, but then they for them throw the case out. Because you cannot charge me for forgery. And then they can't find out, say, actually, not me, your signature that they forge, and not forge anybody a signature. So why do you proceed with the investigation at all? Why do you proceed with the court, with the matter in court at all? But they proceeded with the matter until later on again, they get for invite other people, like on the issue of the conspiracy, they invite somebody from NRA. The person can say, one day may not talk, one day I not give a letter, one day I not make telephone call, or tell anybody to make anybody not pay tax. So how would you say I stop somebody from paying tax at the port when I not call anybody for say, when I not allow this person for pay? And as if now just one desk, they forget the way they bring things for export, the process we get for follow from Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Agriculture, so you can navigate all forestry, this and that, EP, all of those processes we get for go to tell anything they reach to the shipping agencies. How me Chakwete go able to make possible bypass all of those processes and go export? So it will defy all objective sense of reasoning. But anyway, they kept me in court for over 3 years, subject me to all types of treatment, only for at the end for tell me say we not get any evidence against you. And I say, of course I knew. I said, now to it be news. I said, it's not news to me. I said, because I knew that I was totally innocent, and I feel vindicated anyway, because I tell me church members, I tell me friends and relatives, but say I will never let you down. I will never disgrace you. I say I'm innocent. I say, however long this investigation takes, I say the conclusion. I mean, Justice Combat Commander was a magistrate on the matter. This other judge now, when I lecture at Furabe College, himself, I don't forget his name, a judge, now himself, and I take over after Justice Commander, and then the final judge where then take the matter go high court where did the final join. I don't forget his name self. But the DPP then was Justice Barr is now a judge. The director of public prosecution. He was there, and then Justice Montfort was the lead prosecutor on the matter. So they are all alive. So and they all can bear testimony to everything. And they call these names just for make anybody will care for question the veracity or the truth behind anything what they say now. So you get the option for call any of those Justice Commander, Justice Binet. Justice Binet Kamara, you can ask him. Justice Montfort, you can ask him. Justice Barr, you can ask them. They were all involved. Justice Combat Commander, they were all involved at various points and different ways in this matter, and they all should know the truth about all of this. But anyway, as I can say, that is the path God wanted me to take, and I think I've learned lessons from it. I think I've come out of it a better person, and I think I'm better placed for the challenges ahead for me.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Konteh. I'm glad you will actually go back and expand on that because I was heading there. If I'm going to ask Unadoyeri, Dr. Richard Konteh, don't give you the backdrop of this whole idea of forged signature. And if una no yeri nothing, and that talk day, una need for yeri say the signature with them forge. Na Dr. Richard Konteh is signature. Then the person where they accuse say forge the signature, na Dr. Richard Konteh. So how person go forge in your own signature? Now that one day na the riddle we still nobody not able for answer. There was never any forgery of President Ernest Bai Koroma in signature. That talk they not ever come up anywhere, and it not ever be. Nobody not forge Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma in signature. The signature we then forge now Dr. Richard Konteh, and they accuse Dr. Richard Konteh for forge in your own signature. So me famble them. I left that riddle day. I left and give now. We una go sit down now and think. I know say we don't go over with normal time. But I get one final rumor where I really want for address before we close today. So I want to go on to another question, but I just see a question or a request on the screen. Where somebody they asked me for repeat that part again. I don't know quite whose part, but if not the last thing where I say, now that we don't hear you say, the question of forged signature. Now in being there na the grown. The rumor we been they go around. Now that na Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma in signature with former president. Now him somebody forge. And the rumor will be they go around now that Dr. Richard Konteh forge Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma in signature. Inside court, they don't go prove through the hands of 3 different judges. Say the signature with them forge. Now Dr. Richard Konteh in signature. On top of that, they accuse Dr. Richard Konteh for forge in your own signature. So how person they forge in your own signature? Now the question we still lead on a grown. If now you signature and you sign, it's not possible for let be forgery. If now you signature and now you sign, it's not possible for let be forgery. Person not go forge in your own signature. Now other person now they forge somebody else in signature. If now that you they ask for I repeat, I hope say I don't answer your question. So the last rumor what I want to deal with today, and then plenty where I've been get lined up, but we go just round off with this last one. plenty people them na APC feel say they not for support Dr. Richard Konteh for flag bearer because then say Dr. Richard Konteh carry the party go court. Plenty people them get their own ideas around this. Going back to the forged signature, we don't hear it, court don't clear. Dr. Konteh say enough forge previous president Ernest Bai Koroma in signature, enough forge them at all. In fact, now Dr. Richard Konteh in your own signature, 9 people then forge. We know say Dr. Richard Konteh they run for the position of flag bearer for the APC party. We know say we can't get problem with plenty thief and plenty corruption. The 2 things that they accuse Dr. Richard Konteh about under corruption, courts don't clear them. And me family, I want to think about one thing. The court where he go, not a friendly court, not to APC then a power where he go court and then go free. And where you go talk say sometimes you get friends in that court system. Day. Right now with my mind mates, now in a power. So under that regime day, Dr. Richard Konteh able to come out clean. He able to come out clean, no accusation, no left, then clear in name completely. Enough forge Ernest Bai Koroma in signature. Now other person forge in your signature. Now this last woman I want to talk about, then say Dr. Richard Konteh care APC party go na court. So I want to come back to me 2 guests them, Mr. Mohamed Kanu and Mr. Said Konteh. I want if this talk before una, make una tell we wetin una know, but this particular rumor say Dr. Richard Konteh carry APC party go court.
Thank you very much, Madam Valda. First and foremost, a rather unfortunate because we dey talk about the Konteh. Me young Said, me young Konteh, we spell with C. I know say Richard Konteh and young Konteh na K. But this other man, Peter Konteh, he young spell with C, a rather unfortunate. Peter Konteh and Richard Konteh, as far as my memory can give me, one day we get doctor. He get doctor before his name. And then plus R, doctor plus R, then a Richard. But Peter Konteh, the last time we hear about Peter na the Bible. P na the Bible. Then he can't get this Konteh. I don't know how come man like this. Do ya for una where they watch we or where they listen to we? You know this world, you know to make people then they end up forget trouble wherever they go pray, they not go better, then go do all kind of things. Inside they put their hand, na ala, you get for check yourself. Then one day in America, then get one song go them and say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Now in this thing when it happen. Peter Konteh, not to Richard Konteh. Richard Konteh is a politician where not only he know politics, but he has the credential of a politician, an educated person, and somebody where any side where it's enough. When you see him, you know say, this not Dr. Richard Konteh. You know only learn book. He learn the book, and then he help people for let themselves learn. How I wish I been for teach me, but I been for better pass our this. However, Peter Konteh, he didn't win na ya been there. I did Pennsylvania, in the Jersey. If you are a member of the party, you decide for take bold step, he forgets the guts as a chairman for say, hey, that correct you now all, yeah? Me, young Peter Konteh, not to Richard Konteh, and not to Richard Konteh carry the party go court. Peter Konteh forget the guts. But we all know what's happened with Peter and the Bible. Una will get small idea about the Bible. Peter, now the Bible. How come and how we work. So in reality, Peter Konteh able let him not deny himself for the hide behind somebody. He need for come out and say, I am Peter Konteh, for be proud enough. Head lifted, say, yes, let me carry the party gonna court. For this reason, for this reason, for this reason. And then let it bring pictures for let people then see. Because a good number of people then are not able for read. But if they bring picture, then go able to see, say, this man, oh, they accuse, say, na Peter Konteh, we can go, no. In your name, get doctor, plus R, we then call Richard. Me na Peter Konteh. Look the two picture them. When you look the two people them, you go know very well, say, this man different totally from the one who they go accused of waiting in order. The family we left. Sierra Leone they poil because now we the poiler. Everything when you read something, this issue of you report in talk, you don't get the fact, you don't know what's in it, you go and lie, they talk all kinds of things. If we not left, some of we tell God thank you, we didn't aside we bad say, we bread and butter, we'll go get them. If we not get them by which self way they work, government they give it. One alone I know this. And now we there they help over yonder. But the things that what we see, what we do every day. Let God bless Richard Konteh. Dr. Richard Konteh, let it be leader. Because any man will begin in campaign with prayer. I believe, say, if that man they gets the reign of power in that country they could change small. Because now some of them things then now see they don't lack. But who touches them? But not all man they preach God's word. But who must them? Not all man they preach God's word. Some man they inside mosque they lie. Some man they inside church they lie. Just for make it get that small man and cool they go care. Let God forgive the people them. Because when they suffer, we step with them when they suffer. So 2 years me family them, Dr. Richard Konteh and Dr. Lord forbid. Peter Konteh, not the Dr. Sepo, Peter Konteh, they're all totally two different people them. It's rather unfortunate say Million Konteh spell with C. I the plan for change them. But anyway, let me pop on up next grave. I will let them know. But Dr. Richard Konteh and Peter Konteh, they are not the same people. At the same time, Dr. Richard Konteh are the only person who were able to come out his stand for the APCA. Ungratefulness, no fine. Ungratefulness. Man with the facts for una. Now una they come out because some of una feel say enough to attain the heights. Now God name they put you. Everybody can say no, but God don't say yes. He is the appointed one. Nobody not able to stop that. So do ya una not they listen to people for the sake of listening, or when they can give you small thing, go talk bad about this person, you they do them. Members say they one day when a Muslim, they say Zalika Fadlullah Itimani Yasha. You will do good work, you get good pay. The Christian and self-talk and say, do unto others that you may want others do unto you. So me want to make this word to una say, dear, before you talk, what you not sabi, ask question. Look for the picture. Even if you hear no more, you know the see. At least listen well. Let people tell you, say, oh no, this man already talk to you. This man is so. Una they will not sabi. But let the man insist. Peter Konteh, tell the people and say, you are not Richard Konteh. And that they call leadership. Come out here and make the pronouncement. Tell people and say, I am Peter Konteh. I took the party to court because of XYZ reason. But do ya, me not to Richard Konteh. That's the end and call the bigger person. Do ya, the family, Peter Konteh and Richard Konteh, they're not the same. Thank you, Madam Valda.
Thank you so much, Mr. Said. I don't know if we still get Mr. Kanu with me. I'll go on and turn the same question over to him. If Mr. Kanu not there with me, I just want for say something where I've been read now an All Africa Forum. Just for buttress waiting, Mr. Konteh just say. Alfred Peter Konteh not get nothing in common with Dr. Richard Konteh. Sometimes where we culture, now culture we like for beat, batter, and dance. Where you read the name Alfred Peter Konteh, Dr. Peter Konteh. It's all like where they beat batter, but do ya una listen good. Dr. Richard Konteh. Now, flag bearer aspirant for the APC party. Alfred Peter Konteh, where in young Konteh nasty. Nine the man we carry APC go court. In fact, he joined this movement where they call National Reformation Movement. And now they carry the party go court. Before that, he been done form another organization where they call APC Reformation Movement. So if you ever doubt, una listen, two different organizations, now this man form for try for Tonobo, the APC party. He been form one where they call the National Reformation Movement. And now that movement, they end up with that movement, they end up carry the party, APC party go court. And before that, we don't try back, but not been succeed with another organization we be informed, where they call the APC Reformation Movement. And then they say, na the diaspora all too, na the diaspora. The other thing I need for know, Dr. Richard Konteh, na man way is so love in country. They always talk and say, he get blessing. Salon, people them in life, he don't get blessing. And when you look back, remember outside come out, in people them they struggle, maybe they work, but then they struggle. Because of that background where he get, he turn around. He said, let me self-help. Now where God don't bless me, let me self-help. Let's see who that I go able for help in life. Let's see who that I go able for bless in life. And because of that, he get picking away the pay school fee for all the term. On top of that, now an employer of labor, which means he get people the way they work for them, where if you not pay them, then family then likely go suffer. And Usai, all that one did they come out from the heart. So my family then do ya today. We don't talk about 3 or 4 different things. We don't make una know from the court say, then don't pull all kind accusation from Dr. Richard Konteh about Timbergate, as una can they call am. All things don't clear in a court, say you not do anything wrong. Number 2, then don't pull all kind accusation in a court. They don't clear them completely. Say no $11 million no loss na the country. And even if that money they lost, not to Dr. Richard Konteh make a loss. Number 3, we don't talk say Dr. Richard Konteh not to the person we care APC party go na court. Now this one we right now court install as chairman we name Peter Konteh. The only similarity under na the pronunciation of the name, but even the spelling not the same. Dr. Richard Konteh na in picture under the CBM so. Dr. Richard Konteh in Konteh na K, and Alfred in middle name we na Peter, and your spelling for the Konteh na C. So do ya me fumble them. At least then 3 rumor there, una lay them to rest. If una still not satisfied, una send question then to we. Because any accusation we una get, I'm sure say Dr. Richard Konteh in Unifier campaign team go able for refute with evidence. So I want to tell everybody thank you for wanna tune in today. And I want to give Dr. Richard Konteh a minute or two for address with listening and viewing audience. Me family them me another item say mailman for APC flag bearer now Dr. Richard Konteh. And I will go too much inside the reason them because Mr. Said just outlined some of the few reasons. There's something else where I've been want for mention, but I think I go left that one day for next week program. But I want to make all the listener there and all the viewer them make una take some time for research, waiting then call Mo Ibrahim Good Governance Award. Mo, M-O, Ibrahim, I-B-R-A-H-I-M, Good Governance Award. Do ya wanna take time make una look that one day up because next week we go talk about that one day in the show ya. Yeah. Dr. Konteh, I want to give you the floor, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Velda. And in my closing, I just want for comment on this issue about me for take my government go court or my party go court. I so love my country, I so love my party that I will never take my party or my government to court. If I be ever get for take any person to court, I before don't take the government to court in 2016 after they threw my case out of court. I for don't take the government to court and ask for compensation for what I go through. But I so love my country as I did not. If I've been get for take government to court, I before don't take this government to court because of how they infringe upon my fundamental human rights, of how they blaspheme me, of how they scandalize my name for say me thief $11 million, misquander, then misappropriate $11 million. Then go all over the world for try for smear. They have for us sue. And I believe say I before win the case, and I believe say I for demand compensation from the government, but I will not do it. I'm not get any reason for sue APC party. Party affiliation na a voluntary decision where anybody will take. If at any point in time I feel say I can no longer continue in the APC, I get left APC, I go left quietly and go. But I'm not going to take APC go to court. Because I'm not going to ever share the view say the court for the side we dispute is a APC. I believe say when we get with differences inside APC, we for come in-house and address with differences. So they use that conclusion for appeal to we members of the interim transitional governance council or committee for say una dear. Let we stop for wash with dirty linens in public. Let we stop for make a ridicule of we party in public. Let we stop for give the impression for say APC will not mature enough for handle with your issues as APCians. Let we come to the realization for say two wrongs can never make it right. And let we know say if the factions we don't come up inside the ITGC, they all decide for dig in, there'll be no winner. It will only be degrees of losing, and posterity will never forgive you. The members of the APC want a united APC, and only a united APC will be guaranteed victory in 2023. So do you have the appeal to everybody? Say, let we learn for forgive each other. Let we learn for focus on the bigger picture. Sierra Leone needs redemption, and the people believe that only the APC can redeem this country. Let us not stand in the way of that redemption. And I appeal to anybody or any group of people where maybe they remotely influence some of these unfortunate actions. I want to make them know say they are just hiding behind their fingers. Because we know them, we see them, and the day of reckoning is not very far away. Make them stop what they do, because the untold suffering with those actions that they bring on with people, it don't become too much. Our people have suffered enough. Our youths have suffered enough. Our women have suffered enough. Our members have suffered enough. All of us have suffered enough, and we no want for imagine another 5 years of even worse suffering in the hands of their neighbor. So dear, let we bury the hatchet. Let we put your party first. Let we put your country first. Let we see reason for accommodate each other and take the necessary steps for move we to convention, get a new leader who we all will rally behind for a short victory for the APC in 2023. Me believe say, me, Dr. Richard Konteh, I don't demonstrate over the years, but say, I can dede for my party, I can dede for my members, and I will provide the leadership what we need for that we come together for go against the wire and win in 2023. God be with helper. May God help you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Richard Konteh, a fitting close to the program today. So thank you so much, all we viewers, all we listeners. We thank you for una stay with we the overtime, but we know say una self be interested for hearing some of the things that we discussed today. So again, I invite you now for joining me same time, same place next week. And by God power, we're not going to get any more broadcast breaks. Thank you so much to everybody out there. I want to give an opportunity for Mr. Said say goodbye, and I know say Mr. Kanu don't say in goodbyes. And on behalf of I thank all we viewing and listening audience. Mr. Said.
Thank you very much, Madam Valda. And thank you very much to all Sierra Leoneans. Listen, there is no place like home. No place, not day like home. Unfortunately, I say I'm in a foreign land. But trust me, the things them way are the miss as per waiting the yonder. I just wish some of you can understand. And thank you to all. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you again, and goodbye, viewers and listeners, and see you again next week.